Everyone, it's Tom Numbers. We're 20 days into President Trump's second official presidency. 20 is 107 in numbers, 107. Currency is 107. Military is 107. Quantum is 107. Superman's 107. And I've got Matt Geiger in the house with me. You look like you're enjoying yourself, buddy. You're in
Having a great
Am I
time.
allowed to say where you are, or should I leave it?
Sure, yeah. I'm in Oahu for another day.
Nice.
Yeah, I was in Maui yesterday. I flew over to Maui. It's about a 20-minute flight. Little getaway, right before
Yeah.
the year really starts to kick off. Usually during the holidays and January things kind of slow down. So I'm like, you know what, I'll take a few days off. So we flew out to Hawaii, me and my lady, and
Nice.
I was actually in Maui yesterday. I was telling you right before we got on.
Yeah.
And I went to Lahaina, where the fires were.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you can
Yeah.
and you,
We'll,
I,
I don't know how much we can say on this, but we know what that, we know what that was. Yeah.
I saw what happened there. I was standing in the shell of a house. I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, I was standing in a house where, this thing must have just been amazing. Like this, it was right on the water, and right in the shell of the house, there was like a little cove that would come into I guess whatever you'd consider their backyard. And I just look over. There's like 5 feet away from me. There's a seal just sleeping there.
Really?
you know, but the whole blue roof thing, totally verified.
Yeah.
Totally verified. Can tell people that.
Yeah.
You can see all the blue roof stuff all stayed completely intact. But a beautiful place overall, and I just hope to see them rebuild and people get their lives back if they ever do.
Yeah. I remember I was saying to you just before we came on, I was in Kauai.
Yeah, I'm listening.
About over 2 years ago now, and I'd go and see the turtles, the big turtles. So I was staying with someone there, and she was showing me around the island, and it was wonderful. So there was this bay, and so when you described what you said with the seals, I know it well. So we'd have these big, massive turtles and they'd come in the evening, and people would kind of see them feed, whatever they were doing.
They're beautiful.
It's like a big spectacle every evening. You see the sunset. Have you seen? So we looked for the green flash. Have you seen the green flash yet? The sunset at night.
No, what's that?
So we tried it a few times, but we didn't actually see it. But apparently, there's a time. It's a bit random when it happens, but it happens fairly regularly, so the locals know about it. So if you get to see the sunset go down into the ocean, there's sometimes a point, because sometimes it gets a bit cloudy, a bit misty, whatever. But there's a point where the sun goes into the ocean, and they have a green flash, like when there's a point for whatever reason, and it ignites. It's like a green flash across.
Wow.
When the sun dips into the ocean. So I never actually saw it. We tried it a few times, but it didn't work out. But maybe that's something you can try.
Well, the turtles. I was out to lunch yesterday at a little restaurant, and the restaurant is literally right on the water. Like you could jump out the window and go into the water. And I'm looking outside, and I see I'm looking outside and I see one of those turtles just swimming right there. They're beautiful, man. Yeah. They're huge.
They are. They're big, aren't they?
They're big boys. But
I saw some of them swimming around the other side of the island. There was this. I can see it in my mind. I don't know I have to figure out what the area was called. But we're on the cliffs, and you could see the turtles swimming around in the surf, the rough, like jagged rocks and everything. But you'd see these big, like you say, big massive turtles just swimming around us. Yeah, it's quite a sight to see.
It's a beautiful sight. I would tell people, I usually go to Hawaii. If I go to Hawaii, I usually go in like June, May, June, July, August. Right now, it's like kind of the cooler time of year, although I did see a whale jump out of the water. It breached, the breaching. I did see a whale from a distance, so you could hardly make out anything. But, if you're into whale watching, come to Hawaii this time of year. If you're not, and you just want to come out here for like, 90, 100 degrees, it's not really this time of year. Today, it's like 80, Still beautiful. I'm not complaining, but Arizona is pretty nice this time of year too. So,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
but it's a nice little getaway. But I have been keeping up with the news,
Do
to kind of
you get
jump into it.
do you get the
Yeah,
chickens where you are?
yeah. The roosters and the chickens everywhere.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
hysterical.
That's what Kauai's like, just everywhere. I'd
Yeah,
get up early to do shows and just like we're on the edge of this golf course and
it's
yeah,
hysterical.
just chickens
Yeah,
everywhere. Yeah,
chickens everywhere. Chickens and roosters.
yeah,
But I think just to kind of jump into it, this whole Trump with the USAID, this is a big deal, man. This is like, you're see what USAID represents to me, and you were kind of asking me about it before we came on.
yeah.
Is what it is it's the precursor to what we're going to find about all these government agencies, all these government budgets, right? This is just the tip of the iceberg. And by the way, who was mentioned in USAID? Charlie Kirk took money.
Charlie Kirk took money.
Charlie Kirk took money. Now,
Ooh.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt because he did, in fact, get Trump approximately 4 million votes. So, in all fairness to Charlie, I'm not going to come down on the kid because he's done an absolute fantastic job. But he's also one that was denying what in 2020, right? So he was actually somebody that was confronted in a group of people. I think it was actually a bunch of pastors. They confronted Charlie and they said,
Oh, you're talking about
"Hey,
the popularity vote in 2020?
just the overall vote,
Yeah, that's what I
everything."
mean. I'm just
Yeah,
using his code. So he was saying that wasn't the case back then.
he was even saying it wasn't the case back then. But we also know people are playing their roles, people are playing their parts, right?
Yeah,
So I'm gonna give Charlie the benefit of the doubt because of the great work he's done with TPUSA and getting everybody to register to vote. I mean, he literally got something like 4 million votes for Trump in this past
yeah.
election. So I can't, and I would say to your audience,
How do we see who's listed on this? Because I didn't know. How do we see that?
I will find the document. I will send it to you. There's somebody else pulled it up for me, a friend of mine.
Okay.
But you can see exactly who took money. There's somebody else. It was Charlie Kirk and somebody trying to think of who it was. But I don't think if you took USAID money, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're, the way I kind of take it is like, it doesn't necessarily mean you're a bad guy. It just means you got government funding, right?
Uh-huh.
I would say to an organization like Charlie Kirk, then it becomes a question of, okay, is it appropriate even for a Republican, right? Because we gotta be fair to both Democrats and Republicans, right? We have to, if we're going to be people of honor, we have to be consistent, right, in our beliefs. We can't just say, hey, is it, if it's good for us, then we're willing to do anything, right? Then we just become the monster we claim to be against. But a lot of these groups, I mean, you're talking about, $1 billion or something crazy, $100 million to, transgender studies in Pakistan. It's just blatant money laundering. And I think what
President
this
Trump
kind of
said
said,
that was how many condoms went to Israel or something, wasn't it?
right.
Yeah.
But it also segues into, I just saw this on Gateway Pundit. It's a headline on right now, but they're talking about auditing the Federal Reserve. Thomas Massey, who I do like Thomas Massey. He's one of the few that I do like. Thomas Massey came out with legislation where he wants to go and start auditing the Federal Reserve.
Huh.
Right.
Well, it's like, where's the desk with everything in the Federal Reserve? Like where? Yeah.
Well, here's the reality about the Fed has an on balance sheet and an off balance sheet, right? The
So I
on
mean, it's
balance
like we
sheet,
got to find it.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But my guess is, just as a precursor, I think Trump was able to see it back in 2020 during the what in March of 2020 when the whole C thing started.
Yeah.
Our favorite beer company, let's call it. The Treasury absorbed the powers of the Federal Reserve.
Yeah. Under Mnuchin.
Right.
Yeah.
So
there's a film producer.
He's the film producer, right? Right.
Told
exactly.
everyone.
He's actually his specialty is actually being a computer programmer, is what he is. So anyway, that's a whole can of worms we could get into. But I think that allowed.
It's all good skill sets he's got.
He's a smart guy.
Yeah.
I think at that time that allowed Trump to get the insights into the balance sheets of the Fed, the Federal Reserve, right? So now, if we audit the Fed, they have an on-balance sheet, off-balance sheet. If you look at their on-balance sheet, last time I checked, it was like $13 trillion. Still something crazy. Maybe it's 15 now. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I bet you their off-balance sheet, which is the one that they hide away, they don't have to show anybody anything, which is ridiculous.
Quadrillions.
I think it's in the quadrillions.
Yeah.
I think it's in the quadrillions.
It has to
And
be.
at that point, I don't think you can admit that to the public. I think you have to solve the problem and then come out later and be like, here's where they were at. They were at $1.5 quadrillion, right? We had to do something. This is insane.
Yeah.
Right. And this is where, getting into what we talked about last week with the CBDC, with Trump writing that executive order banning the CBDC, it burned their life rafts. They want to get off their sinking ship. And Trump just took a torch to their life rafts and said, you're not going anywhere. You're staying on the sinking ship.
Yeah.
So I think there's, it tells you, look, the whole banking system was invented and created by the Rockefellers, right?
Yeah.
If you want to escape the system, it's going to come with some pain. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I don't think it's going to be a total walk in the park. I think there's going to be some financial pain. But at that point, the stuff we're probably learning about, it's like, I think people's priorities won't be so much money. I think it'll be where we're at morally, right? All the other stuff that's been going on with the, the trafficking and this, that, the other thing. I think that'll start to come into the spotlight. So we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see how it's all done. Yeah, we'll see how it's all done. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I'm just thinking. So, Trump, the apprentice is 140, the military is 140, the currency is 140, and it's also reset the US is also 140. Tom Numbers is 140. So I was like, okay. Yeah. Even the RV exchange 140. Yeah, we'll see how it all goes. Have you read the book The Creature from Jekyll Island?
I got through like half of it.
Yeah, I've not read it. I've listened to the tapes on it like years ago. Would have been 20 plus years ago now. I first realized about the Fed and the mandrake mechanism and being able to create things out of thin air. You know what's really strange? So I had two distinct thoughts when I was a kid. I had many, but there's two that are relatable that I remember. And one of them, I remember when we went to the supermarket and my parents would do the weekly shop. And I remember they pay by check. Not that check is that often now, but check. And I said to my dad, why don't you just write it out for any amount? Because it's a checkbook. I didn't understand that there's a thing behind it. But me being a kid and just like anything's possible, I was like, yeah, just write it out. Little did I know that that's really what had been going on at the highest level. And then I also had the solipsism thought that I think a lot of people maybe had. And like, you question yourself as a kid, like, am I just the only person that lives here? Like, is everyone else just projections, whatever, and that's been in films. And if people think we're in a matrix, which I think we at some level are, a simulation, those two things, like money comes out of nowhere. And then the higher one of like, is this all just projected reality? Is it holographic reality? And I think there's some truth to that. But I had those thoughts as a kid. I don't know if you had any similar thinking about the nature of reality, either about those subjects or other things. Did you?
I did. Yeah. I always felt like, there was somebody in control. Like there was some controllers out there that were, I don't know, just pulling the strings. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah.
But you do sense these things. It's like the Matrix.
Yeah.
They sense that things are not what they seem.
Yes.
And then they get a little education on the way things are, and next thing you know,
it solidifies it, and everyone believes it and goes that way. But as a kid, you know what's going on.
It's weird.
It is weird.
Good point.
It is weird. So how have the markets been this week? There's obviously been lots of executive orders continually. What's the markets like? How's that been in the last
I have not
week and a half or so?
I have not really been following markets, but let's take a look.
Hey everyone,
I
Stephen,
lost you there. Sorry about that.
Ryan, Cloud, and Whiskey. Hey guys.
Can you see me?
Yeah, I'm here, buddy. I'm just saying hello to some
Oh,
of the
great.
folks
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
the chat. Excuse
I
me.
see your buddies from the UK. Come on, phone.
Yeah, we got Stephen
let's
from the UK, and who's in the US? Who's elsewhere? We might have some Australia even at this time. Don't know. Ryan, I think you're Trump and Elon out here doing good God's work. Yeah, they are. They are. Elon 2.0 doing the God's work.
Well, they're trying to say, you can clearly say, will President Trump's new sweeping tariffs cause a stock market crash? No, I don't think so. I think if people really understood tariffs, it should boost markets, right?
Take
And
us through that.
It's a very popular issue. I mean, it's funny how the Democrats, they take the side of like all these stupid issues.
Yeah.
And they
lie, don't they? The thing is, their fundamental baseline is lie. And it's not even just Democrats. I mean, you've got rhinos, but people that are Kabbalistic, satanic in their nature, darkened, not of God. And that can be in any, because you get it in any walk of life. It can be people in the truther movement. It can be Republicans. It can be people next door. It can be people in your family. It can be anybody. But if they're propping up bullshit, and that's the other thing, I haven't seen the line is getting more and more obvious now. People keep bouncing back into fear and bringing up stupid things. I'm like, I don't really have anything else to say in this conversation, because it's like, hello. It's like, hello. I'm doing a biff like, hello. Look, hello.
It's
We've
live.
been here for so long. It's like, and you're asking stuff like that. It's like, what? Did you not get the memo? Did you not get the memo that the world has changed in the last 5 years? It's changed before, but did you not get the memo that's gone on forever and no one could ignore it? And then they're coming out with nonsensical stuff, and it's like, how on earth do they even construct that? And I think it's, it could be versions of just bonkersness, whether they're
where I do think there is some
weird.
validity. Where I do think there is some validity with those people is that you have to tear down the system. The system's a construct of the deep state, right? So it's like, if you want to get out of their system, it's like, yeah, Trump's trying to do it as painless as possible, right?
Yeah.
He's trying to do it as pain-free as possible, but it's not going to be totally pain-free. But it's not going to be so painful where I feel like people need to go and feel like they gotta panic or just be under immense stress or anything like that. Like, I think it's like, okay, if the financial system crashes, we'll figure out a way to put it back together.
Exactly. And it's not even like when you preface it there and say, well, those people are just like, if they're aware. I'm talking, I guess I'm winding back a few steps. People that are just saying nonsensical stuff about all kinds of things. Like there's some real lunatics out there saying some weird crap. And it's like, and then you ask them about it, and then they go into another doolally cul-de-sac, and it's like, all right, I'm out. I haven't got any time for this. I don't know. You can't. What's the phrase? Like, you can't. There's no rationale or no logic in insanity. It's like, not everywhere, but there's a lot of insanity now, and it's like, what is that? And maybe that's because their paradigm or their reality that they've existed in is actually really literally beginning to disintegrate. And maybe they won't be here in the future, because some people won't make it. And if they're coming out with the real weird, nonsensical, demonic nonsense, it's like, I don't know what the remedy for that is, other than they have to go to their room and sort that out, or just go, because there's no answer. And then you've got the bracket you're talking about, where people are just, they're doing their thing and they're seeing these shifts. And there's going to be some upheavals and changes and stuff. But if they're 51%, like their heart's in the right place, they'll be fine. They'll get through. But I had some, just some things that came to mind.
Oh, come on, Cloud9. I'm not bald. I got hair. No, that somebody said the guy on the left is bald too. I'm not bald.
Oh, who's saying that?
I don't know. It's okay. I don't mind.
Okay. Are you a troll?
It's okay. I don't mind the trolls.
Oh, it is. It's a troll. Okay. Well, he'll be ejected soon. So
it's okay.
I think I can do it now.
You could leave him. He's harmless.
No, trust me, Matt. I've been at this job
You've
a
been
long
at this a
time.
while. Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry,
No,
Cloud9.
we'll get some. See you, buddy, Oscar boy. Yeah. See ya. It's amazing though that it's like you get censored and then you get stuff like that, and it's like they've got a whole team on it, and it's strange. But the AI,
It's weird.
there's good AI, and I think there's also negative AI.
Yeah.
And it's like
Yeah.
they just find it somehow, and it's like, okay, off you go. And you can command them. You can command them to depart. It's like, you have to depart now. You've had your time. Off you go. That's it. Go. And that's what it is. They can't really harm you other than irritate and just annoy and slow down. And it's like, I found through thousands of these, the best way is just bye. That's it. It's done. And there'll be another one that reincarnates itself later, but you just delete them, block them. Yeah.
We got the Super Bowl today. What are your thoughts?
So you'll like this. So Super Bowl in numbers is 131, and it's John F. Kennedy 131. So it's like, okay. What number Super Bowl is it? I think it said LIX. Is that it?
I can check right now.
I think that's what it said when I glanced at it. I did a show over on my locals channel earlier today about the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Super Bowl LIX. So L is what, 6?
I think L is 50, isn't it?
Is it 50?
I think in Roman numerals, I think it's
so
50.
Something 9. So Super
LIX.
Bowl
X is 10, so it would be
59.
69.
Oh,
no, hang on. Is it? I'm so rusty on Roman numerals. LIX. IX sounds like I is no. That sounds 59. Is that right? 59. 59.
I think it's 59. Yeah.
So that's
Super Bowl
Joker.
59. Joker.
59 is Joker. Yeah. So yeah. Interesting. And Trump's going to be there. So this is a weird statistic. I'm sure you've heard it, man. I didn't know this, but it's worth mentioning. They've mentioned it, but Trump will be the first standing president to attend a Super Bowl.
Is that true? Really? Okay.
That's what I heard. That's what they said, and unless I've misread that, that's what they said, and that's kind of surprising. I didn't know that was the case. I mean, yeah. He's going to go to the Super Bowl. And I think at first I heard it was like the first time in such many years, like Reagan or whoever. But then I heard or read earlier today, if I've got it correct, maybe people can check, that he's the first standing president to attend a Super Bowl, which seems surprising, That does seem surprising. But, I mean, 59 years ago, what would that be? That would be that'd be before JFK, wouldn't it? It would be...
No, it'd be after JFK.
Is it?
So
63.
25.
Yeah, okay, it would be. No, it's close.
1966.
JFK was about 57 years ago.
1966.
Okay, yeah. No, you're right. After, yeah. So 59, 225. Take away, 1963. 62. Take away 57. 5. 66 or 67? No. What would that be?
It's 66.
66? Okay, yeah. That's the year that England won the World Cup. So how many presidents have there been? So LBJ, how long was he in? A year and a half?
I think he got reelected.
Did he? So
yeah, he got reelected.
LBJ, Jimmy Carter? No, Nixon.
Ford.
LBJ, Ford, Nixon, Jimmy Carter.
Nixon. Jimmy Carter, Reagan, Bush, Clinton,
Bill Clinton,
Bush, Obama. So 9, and then Trump would be the 10th.
Okay. So when I first heard it, I was thinking, what, all the way back to like Washington, but they didn't have the Super Bowl then. But still, it's an interesting statistic, isn't it? That
if you look at the boards, everybody's been talking about the boards. The post from the 17th letter, which was going to make it look like a puppy show.
Yeah.
Right. Whatever the phrase was. So I mean, we'll see what happens. I don't think anything's going down.
Puppy show, Doge.
Right. Okay.
I read that that Elon has spent millions on ads. He's going to put like 4 ads during the halftime.
Good.
That reveals like the stuff that Doge has found, like the overspending in the government. Puppy show. In The Dark Knight, there's a bit where the stadium implodes. You've seen that?
Yes.
Yeah. So
that's a crazy scene. That was in Philadelphia.
Was it? I mean, the backdrop for it was.
Oh no, that was in the Steelers. That was in Pittsburgh. Excuse me.
Okay, yeah. I think they morphed it into like New York as the backdrop for Gotham, but the actual stadium. Okay, Pittsburgh. Interesting.
They filmed a lot of that movie in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I do know that because I watched some of the the making or whatever.
Yeah,
but
yeah. The first one was Dark Knight was in, Batman Begins was more dystopian, and then the second one was in Chicago, and then the third one, The Dark Knight Rises, that one with the stadium is in New York, and Trump Tower is Wayne Tower in that film.
Dal is saying today is National Pizza Day, along with Super Bowl game. Pizza is a clue. It's a good thought.
What's Dal?
It's just the screen name of the person.
Oh,
I'm reading your comment.
Oh, yeah. Dal. Hello. Yeah. So, the other thing about pizza, so, when President Trump has been shown eating pizza, has done it a few times. So there's double comms and everything. So obviously he's pointing to, the whole scandal with that. But also on the good side, pizza is 78 Kennedy. And so he's double comming them as well. He's double bluffing them. He's also double trolling them. But that's interesting. Yeah. And so pizza's not, that's the thing. It's not always, everything is always bad. It's like, no, there's some good ones as well. But they do it simultaneously. It's like, okay. And that's what simultaneous equations are. It's like they balance out, don't they? It's like simultaneously. It's like, okay. And that's but pizza's also 78 Kennedy. It's also the atomic number for palladium, 78. And guess what the atomic number for gold is? 79.
79, right.
And 79, the atomic number for gold is that, but the word super, when you spell it out, is 79. So you could kind of say the Super Bowl, but the gold bowl as well. So it's like, and do you remember the old before Christopher Reeve? Do you remember the Superman series? It was like a black and white one.
The Superman, it was a TV show?
Yeah, like there might have been a few before, but before Christopher Reeve, there was like an old black and white one, and they sometimes would show it.
I just remember the one
color over the top.
I never watched that one. I remember the one with Dean Cain in like the 90s.
Oh yeah. But the reason I mentioned the Superman one from years ago was there was a sort of JFK thing about that older one. It kind of a little bit like that. There was a sort of JFK element to that older Superman. But numbers, in numbers, Superman's 107, Trump's is 107, military's 107, warp speed's 107, quantum's 107, Aquarius is 107, currency's 107, eternal life is 107, Guantanamo is 107. So if you do Trump's, military, Guantanamo, they're all 107.
Just on more fun.
What's that?
On a fun note, did you see the clip of that security guard?
Come on, that was fun, no?
Did you see the security guard not letting the Democrats into the Department of Education building?
No, what was that?
So there's this guard standing in front of the door of the Department of Education, and Maxine Waters and that I forget the guys. They're all corrupt senators and Congress people, but they were all in there. And Maxine Waters is like, she's like, "Oh, you're not going to let us in there? Are you going to use that gun on us if we try to? Are you going to use your gun?"
Yeah.
So like total insurrection, like completely becoming the very thing that they claim that they're against.
That's the tactic of lower dimensional beings in general. They accuse you of the shit that they are pulling in front of your eyes all the time. And the ones I talked about earlier, the demented ones, that's the sort of shit they pull. If they even can pull that together, because a lot of them can't even string a sentence. But they try that. They try the gaslighting approach on you all the time. It's like, oh, you're doing this to me. It's like, no, that's you doing that. And that's you continuing to do it. And I'm not going to walk into your silly nonsense and take your frame of reference because you're talking crap. Yeah, they do that all the time. All the time.
I feel like they just completely discredit themselves. Like anything that they would have to
Totally.
say further, it's like I would never take advice from you. I would never listen to any opinion you have. You are completely you have silenced yourself completely.
Exactly. You've shown who you are.
Yeah.
And you've silenced yourself, and now you're muted for forever because it's
They
nonsense.
They think they're experts. You know, they think they know everything, and it's frustrating. But I think I do think it's going to get a little sticky here, Tom. I really do. I think
They may well do.
Trump.
Well, the storm has got to. From all it still seems we haven't had the storm. So whatever the storm is, and however it comes, the storm is pretty ferocious, isn't it? So whatever's coming, I still believe the storm has to hit. I thought the storm would hit before President Trump came back in. But in hindsight, it makes sense. They pulled COVID when he was in charge. And so when the storm hits, it makes sense that Daddy's back in the house, you know?
And as far as bailing out the economy, maybe what Trump does is he does try to save the system. Maybe he, maybe there's some legitimacy in, let's say, Nasara Jisara, right? Let's take the Nasara part because that applies to us. I guess it would apply to Jisara too, but maybe they set the price of gold at, $100,000 an ounce.
That would be good.
Right. I mean, that's what Trump should realistically do now. He should go turn around and just be like, "Hey, we're going to take over the system.
Yeah.
We're going to fix everything. And the way we're going to do it is we're going to set the price of gold at, 100,000. We're going to set the price of silver at, 10,000, 20,000.
We've got 85 in the chat right now that YouTube's allowing us to see. 85, when you spell the word silver, it's 85. So there you go.
Matched right up.
Yeah.
Little God nod.
Exactly. And now it's 91, which is Space Force, which is POTUS. So when Space Force decide to do that one, that will happen. Yeah.
Yeah, that could be the solution.
So 100,000 an ounce for gold. That would be cool.
I mean, I'm never one to predict prices. I would never go and tell somebody, yeah, it's going to 100,000, Jim. And
what is it right now an ounce for gold? What is it?
It's shot up. It's getting close to 2,900.
Okay.
And that's spot price. So, realistically, if you're buying, let's take a look. If you're buying, let's say, a gold eagle,
so if it goes to 100, that's basically 30 times, isn't it?
Goes to 100, that's basically 30 times, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, 33 times.
But then what you have to consider is like, okay, well, what does $100,000 buy you at that point? A loaf of bread is probably $50.
So this is you might have some thing on this. So this is the other thing. So I've heard just, at different times throughout all this, when things get revalued, but I've also heard that prices will come down, like things like housing prices and that stuff. And it's like, okay, so if they're overvalued assets, they'll come down, but then the true measure of other wealth will go up. I'm just interested. It's like, so prices will come down. And you can't quote me on it. I've heard it. I haven't studied. But I do remember something. So when President Trump would do shows with Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Man, Poor Dad. So Kiyosaki's all gold, silver, he's probably got portfolios of real estate and stuff. But anyway, gold and silver. So Trump, but he paired with him for a long time.
Yeah, they wrote a book together.
Yeah, and so there was the board game of Rich Man Poor. But I remember I saw a clip of it not too long ago, and so someone was basically saying the house prices. Basically, the thought was maybe was Kiyosaki saying don't get into real estate. He was pure gold and silver, and then the other investments and businesses. But they were talking about this thing of gold of house prices, and they were basically saying don't put your assets in your house. And I've heard others say that, and it's like, well, there's the argument of if you're paying rent, it's better to pay a mortgage because it's your asset at the end. But
the gold to housing ratio. There's a ratio between the two.
Yeah, and then Trump was asked about with him, and they were basically kind of surmising that, well, hang on, you watch at some point in the future the housing price bubble will just go through the floor, and so assets like houses will just really drop. Which makes sense with the whole thing of 1955. So in Back to the Future, they say, well, we're going back to 1955. Time travel in Back to the Future is discovered November 5th, 1955. You obviously had the election in 2024, which was on November 5th. So November 5th, 1955, what's that about? Why did they choose that? And they start off in 85. 85 is silver. So it's like there's some connection between prices of assets, things like how, going back to the 50s, but also the prices of gold and silver as well. There's something within that weave. There's something in that.
Like a movie ticket will be 25 cents again.
Right. A Nickelodeon. That's where they got the name from, didn't they? Nickelodeon.
I don't know. You tell me. What's the background on that?
Well, so Nickelodeon, but like the Odeon Cinema. So nickel, however, what's a nickel? Is that 5 cents or 20?
Yes.
So Nickelodeon. So it was like you could go and watch it, like you say, 25, but 5 cents or a nickel. Or
okay, I see.
So that's where that name comes from, Nickelodeon.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
But there's a reason. There's a reason for that, about what they're doing, But there is that clip. Someone could probably find it. But there's the bit where Kiyosaki's pushed on. Well, what you're saying, that the assets, the prices of houses will drop, and then he kind of looks at Trump and he's like, there'll be a point where that happens, and it's like, okay, so prices will come down, but then real assets will retain their value as well. So it's like they could do a double. Put the true value of things go up, but then overvalued assets down.
Well,
you got to remember, there's something. I'm always surprised. Now I'm really surprised. Like each bit, it feels like Christmas again. 2020 was so revelatory, and now all this stuff with the executive orders, like Gaza, taking the Gaza. Yeah, we're going to take Gaza. It's just brilliant. It's like I'm waiting for we're going to take the city of London. We're going to take the city of London. We're going to just take that. It's like, okay.
You got to remember though, Tom. You got to remember the higher home prices support the monetary system and all the debt levels that we have. So if you saw a major drop in real estate prices, you're going to see a currency crash like you've never seen before, right? Yeah. So it's almost like you need home prices to continue to go up in order to sustain what we have going. So pulling the plug on real estate would be one of many ways that you could absolutely crash what's going on here, right?
Yeah.
And that would push the price of gold way up. That would push the price of silver way up. I mean, silver going to, people are predicting, silver at 50. I mean, silver at 50, you get silver to $100. I mean, it's the end of the banking system.
What is silver right now?
About 32. Spot price is 32.
So really, it only has to go up like kind of just over 3 times, and then that's it. Boom.
Like, well, the problem with silver,
recover from that.
The problem with silver going up is that, of course, if you're holding silver like myself and, people that work with me, right, or anybody that's bought silver or gold for that matter, is that it's the short positions that the big banks have on it, it would be completely destroyed. Like, in other words, Bank of America, Citibank, JP Morgan.
Stanley, isn't it? And JP Morgan. Is it Morgan Stanley or JP Morgan?
Morgan Stanley is the investment arm of Bank of America.
What's the one that's shorting? Got all the silver shorts? Is it
JP Morgan? JP Morgan. JP Morgan might survive because they're the only ones that actually have silver in their possession. But I mean, it would be, that's where you'll start seeing the banking consolidation. Is I would watch the price of silver, right? So as silver goes up, right, this could very well be the year of silver. I saw some very good articles from people that I thought wrote some stuff that was very compelling, that this could be a time where silver really does start to shoot up. Because, I mean, look at what gold's done. Gold's up, $1,000 pretty much in a year.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's a huge increase for gold. Silver's done relatively nothing. So that's where I would tell people, like, even if you're like, especially people that maybe don't have a big budget, come to me, go to your local dealer or whatever it is. I would go pick up some silver. Silver would be absolutely the thing to be getting into this year. I mean, a lot of people feel like they missed out on cryptocurrency. It's like, you haven't missed anything. This is the beginning. Like, I would be buying silver, because on the far side of this, how many cryptos are really going to exist on the far side of this? Probably a small handful, right?
Just probably the ISO coins.
Probably just those. Yeah. Right. Probably those. So at the end of the day, like, it's going to be that and gold and silver, and then any other assets you have, maybe a house or, I like collectibles, right? As your audience knows, I stick money into, George magazines and Kennedy collectibles, Trump collectibles. Like, I think a lot of that stuff, if you can get your hands on some And I can point people in the right direction. Like if people wanted to just call me and say, hey, I got a couple $100 to spend. Where can I allocate it into something, cool Kennedy collectible? I can point you to like a million different items. Right.
How can they, what's the best way to get hold of you, Matt? Like the number's there, but tell us the number and email.
Just call or text me. My 480-717-9081, that number rings on here. Right. When you get in touch with me, I'll get you all my office information, my actual office lines, right? But I find this really handy because then people can text me, right? They can, sometimes people like to just text and, be, hey, Matt, what do you think of this? And I can just write them a quick message. But yeah, feel free to call anytime. I know I'm here in Hawaii right now, but I'm answering calls. I'm not doing, I'm wrapping up my trip tomorrow. So, everybody, call me morning, noon, and nights. You can call me weekends. I'm used to it, especially your audience. Your audience is, kind of the like-minded people. I think we have an understanding.
Yeah.
And that's why I love working with you, Tom, is because I feel like, your audience and I connect. And, it's nice when you have, customers that you get along with, because sometimes you got to deal with some difficult people.
Makes all the difference in the world. Life
makes
is
it
finite.
nice.
Well, it's not finite, it's eternal, but you know what I mean? It's like you want to have a pleasure zone of just dealing with people that you get on with.
Yeah. Sort of that
yeah.
Internal understanding where
Yeah.
we kind of are on the same page. And it's like, I'll talk to your audience when they call in, and it's like we can educate each other on different subjects, because I'm not an expert in every area. I might know the precious metals world, I might know some other things, but I get some really good insights and some really good intel from your audience. I really appreciate those people.
Steppenwolf, hey buddy, I haven't seen you for a while. It's good to see you. Have you Steppenwolf's really cool. He's been with me a long time. Have you connected with Matt? Give him a shout. I think if I remember rightly, Steppenwolf, you were out in the States. So give Matt a text.
I can't pronounce it perfectly, but silver has to physically be taken from you. Digital coinage can actually be removed from your account by hacker or by a government, and there's severe capability of it being limited what you buy. Yeah, I agree with that. The interesting part of that is that it's almost like with these digital currencies, they're almost using our own free will to get us into this digital system, right? So it's a little bit scary. At the same time, the government, even with Bitcoin, I mean, the big banks have already taken over Bitcoin. BlackRock has already cornered Bitcoin. I mean, it's a small market cap. Yeah. If any of these things start taking off, the banks will just walk in, start to control it. So that's what we're talking about. It's like these cryptos, who the heck knows what's going to be on the far side of it. And I'm positioned in this stuff. I mean, I like it. I've done well in it. I have no complaints, but it's going to be about the last man standing. And I think that's the precious metals.
That's the thing, isn't it? Spread your portfolio. Don't put all your eggs in
diversify.
one basket,
exactly. And get out and get and while we're in, I don't mean to interrupt you, Tom, but get out of the deep state banking assets. These stocks, these bonds, these mutual funds. Get the hell out of these things. If you have an IRA or 401k, give me a call. Right, let's get you in some physical precious metals. Then let's go send you over to maybe a crypto place where you can maybe pick up some crypto as well. Get into this time. This is the stuff that's going to get you through this period of time, right? The stock market's been completely overrun by hedge funds. I mean, look at what happened with the GameStop and AMC stock. All these people got together. I mean, I don't think this is the real story. Yeah, all these people got together, and then Robinhood's calling the hedge funds calling Robinhood saying, "Put a stop to this now." And what did Robinhood do? They put a stop to it. It's like, imagine that. Imagine you're losing money like crazy in your stock portfolio. You can't just call up, your financial institution, and be like, "Put a stop to this now. Put the money back in my account." It's like, no, that's not the way it works. But clearly, it's a club, and you ain't in it.
Yeah. Club is 38 gold. There's also death. So the death club, but there's good and bad numbers. There's good meanings and bad ones. So go from death to gold. 38. Change 38. Ocean 38. Sand 38. That's what we've got to do. And balance your portfolio. And if, like you say, Matt, if you've got a 401k, give them a call. Just give them a call. We'll take you through all the different options. And
boy, do I have options.
Yeah.
Right. You want to take self custody of your stuff, we can make that happen. No other company does it. That's why I say call me, because I can at least, if there's something I can't do, I'll point you in the right direction. But when it comes to IRAs, 401ks, you wouldn't want to go to anybody else but me. And I don't say it out of arrogance or any other reason than just, I have people that buy their gold and silver, and then they go store it at their credit union down the street. So what does that mean? They have access to it. It's not in some random depository across the country from them, right? That's a big deal. These are the types of things I'll bring up to you, and we'll discuss. And
you can, and even if people they can have a safe, can't they? You can help them get a safe at the property or another location.
You can. You're not really supposed to, but it's a gray area. It's sort of a gray area. Usually what I'll do is I'll lay out some options, but hey, if somebody wants their gold and silver, I'll send it to you, whatever you decide to do with it, right? You have it in your hands, you can inspect it, you can verify it, right? You deal with these other companies, you never see your gold or silver, it just supposedly gets shipped out to some depository.
What's the element of like a safe? So like you can ship it to people, because we've had people do that, and Kathy did that, didn't she, and others. So it's like, well,
she didn't do it through an IRA.
Sorry again?
She didn't do it through a retirement account.
Oh, so okay. So we were still on the concept of IRAs. Okay.
So I was just somebody goes and calls me.
You
send me
deliver your gold.
You send me $10,000, right? I'm going to ship you $10,000 of gold or silver, right?
Yeah.
Or $1 million. You said $1 million, right? You're going to get shipped $1 million of gold or silver right to your doorstep, right? Fully insured, right? You'll have advance notice of stuff's coming, right? We work out the logistics. You're not, if somebody came, God forbid, and ripped the package off your doorstep, you're not on the hook for it. But with IRAs and 401ks, when you do a rollover into what they call a gold IRA, silver IRA, right? What I can do is I can find depositories for you locally by your house, right? Because really, you want to have.
So there's a bit of different legislation when it goes from, if it's just pure savings,
correct,
you can deliver to the door. If it's 401k, you've got to do a rollover. There's a procedure. Okay.
But hey, if you send in your IRA, you send over your IRA, and we send you the gold and silver to your doorstep, I'm going to say, hey, take it to this depository down the street, or to your bank or your credit union down the street to store it. What you do with it from there, that's up to you. So these are the things that I've learned that people are on different ends of the spectrum as far as what they're comfortable with. Okay. I deal with some people that say, Matt, I got to have this stuff. It has to be in my possession. I don't care about whatever risks I'm taking. Right? Fine. Then you have people on the completely other end of the spectrum, and they're saying, Matt, I don't want to touch this gold. My house, my neighbor just got robbed twice in the last year. I don't want anything to do with this. Let's get it to a depository. So it really depends on what that person's comfortability is. And I think the depositories are fine. I'm not knocking the depositories. Yeah. It's just that you want to work with a company like me, because I'll verify everything for you. I'll get you the proof, right? Everything is absolutely yours. Here's what you got. Here's where it is, right? We'll verify it. We'll call the company. Hey, you got the stuff, right? It was shipped to you. Great, done. They'll sign off. Shipping documents. This is important stuff. This is the stuff that people usually overlook.
Yeah.
And you get the idea.
It has to be correct and secure for them. So excellent.
That's right.
And they have to know and understand the procedure, and they can be rest assured about it. Well,
correct.
Great stuff, buddy. Enjoy the rest of your trip. So you're back in Arizona on Tuesday. Is that right?
Tomorrow, Monday.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
You go back tomorrow?
Tomorrow, yep.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to say to viewers, so you're away. Usually we do a Monday show, but I think it may be something like maybe Wednesday this week. We'll do.
I probably won't be in my office tomorrow, but I'm available. If you call, just shoot me. If you don't reach me, shoot me a text, shoot me an email. It's just Matthew, MATTHEW @veritymetals.com, or go on the website, put an inquiry in. I usually respond, immediately. As soon as I see it, I respond.
Okay, cool. But you're back to AZ tomorrow. That's good.
Tomorrow, yep, in the office Tuesday. So
okay,
I'll be back in my storefront in Glendale on Tuesday morning.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm saying because regulars know that we usually do this on Monday, so just because you had the Hawaii part today, we've done it today, but yes. You'll be back. So what I'm thinking, we'll probably do the next, this week's show coming up, probably do it something like Wednesday, and we'll get
Sounds
back
great.
on track
yeah,
again.
Whenever.
So,
Sounds great. Thanks, Tom.
Good stuff. Well, thanks, Matt. I'll see you Wednesday. And thanks
Sounds
everyone
great,
for tuning in. And give him a call.
Guys.
Just repeat the number again so people got it.
Yeah, it's 480-717-9081, and you're welcome to call anytime, even while I'm in Hawaii for the next day.
Yeah, or send a text, give him a call.
Send a text. Yep. Yeah. Very good.
Stuff. And the number's there in the link. It's top of the description. So good stuff. All right, buddy. Well, you enjoy those seals and turtles.
I will.
Catch some sun. All right, man.
Thanks,
care.
guys.
Thanks, folks.
Adios.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.